this is our example number 2 for the plane areas in rectangular coordinates. And in here, last meeting ay napag-usapan natin yung application ng vertical and horizontal strip in computing for the area. For the area under the curve, for a specific region, given is the boundary, of course. So for example number 2, we are asked to find the area bounded with the curve a squared y is equal to x cubed, the x-axis, and the line x is equal to 2a. So the first thing that we are going to do here is, of course, to sketch ano yung itsura ng graph natin bago natin ito siya simulan. So with this, as you can see, from our equation, we have a squared y is equal to x cubed. So if we are going to express this in terms of y, then we can say that this is y is equal to x cubed over a square. Now, if we are going to let x is equal to 0, then we can say that our y is also equal to 0. And with this, if we are going to write down our pair of coordinates, this is y, and this is x, and this is y. So if x is 0, we have y is equal to 0. Then, if we have x is equal to a, then substituting that to our equation, then we have here y is equal to a cubed over a square. Then we can say that our y is equal to a. So if x is equal to a, then our y is also equal to a. And if we are going to let our x is equal to 2a, because that is the location where our boundary is located. Now, so we have here, substitute, then we have 4. Wait, lagay muna natin sa 2. So we have here, nasa mouse ko. So we have here 2a raised to 3 over a square. So with this, we have the 2 raised to 3, that is 8, and a cubed divided by a square is 8. Is 8, no? So therefore we can say that if x is equal to 2a, then our y is equal to 8a. So with this, from this table, we can now sketch our graph. And as you can see here, if our x is substituted by negative x, i-investigate natin yung symmetry natin. So if our x will be negative of x, then we have here y is equal to negative x cubed over a square. So we can say that there is no symmetry with respect to the y-axis. And of course, the same manner, if we are going to substitute y with negative y, then our equation would be negative y is equal to x cubed over a square. Then we can say that there is no symmetry with respect to the x-axis. If we are going to substitute x is equal to the negative x, and our y is equal to negative y simultaneously, then we can say that this is negative y is equal to negative x cubed over a square. So with this, we can say that we have y is equal to x cubed over a square. So as we can see here, our equation is unchanged. Therefore, we can say that there is symmetry with respect to the origin. Okay, now, kung titingnan natin dito, since our x is equal to 0, no? At yung y natin is equal to 0, then we can say that this 0, 0 here is the location of our y-intercept. No? So, what about kung titingnan naman natin yung behavior ng curve with respect to the region? So, if we have the x cubed over a square, then saan magsisiro yung curve natin? No? Our curve would be 0 at 0. No? As we can see here, if x is equal to 0, then our y is equal to 0. So, with this, if we are going to substitute a positive number to our equation, no, then we have the positive answer. But if we are going to substitute a negative number, which is less than 0, then we have the negative number. No? So, with this, if we are going to sketch the graph of our curve, so if we are going to sketch the graph of our curve, no, from this relationship that we can see in our table, we have the 0, 0, and at a, that's a, comma a, if this is a, no? So that's a, comma a. And if this is equal to 2a, then we have here 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So dito na siya. Okay. And as we can see here, no, galing dito, papunta siya ng 8, tapos aakyat na siya doon ng 8, 8. No? So we can say that this location here is 2a, comma 8a. No? Since this is symmetrical with respect to the origin, as we can see in our computation, since the equation is unchanged, then at the negative a, this is also negative of a. So therefore, since symmetrical ito, no, ito naman yung itsura sa kabila. At ito ay papunta naman din sa negative 2a, comma, negative 8a. Okay, so since our concern here is our area bounded by the x-axis, the line x is equal to 2a in the curve. So, yung concern lang natin dito ay yung area natin, no, bounded by this line here, which is x is equal to 2a, the x-axis, no, and our curve. So, with this, we are asked to compute for the area under the curve, no, itong pinukulayan kong area. So, before we are going to apply, or before we are going to decide whether to make use of the horizontal strip or the vertical strip, the first thing that we are going to consider is dapat kapag nag-select tayo ng strip natin, ay tatamaan natin yung boundary sa kabilang dulo, no? Boundary which is the curve, and yung isa pang boundary, either line or another curve, no? So, kung titingnan natin, if I am going to assume that our strip is vertical, so we have here the vertical strip, no? So if we have the vertical strip, this has the height of y, and of course, this has the width, which is the differential of x or the dx. So with this, if we are going to compute for that, okay. So if we are going to compute for that, we have the area is equal to the integral of the y dx, no? Of course, limit. What limit? Since we are in x dx ito, so our limit would be the x sub 1 up to x sub 2. So since siya ay nanggaling dito sa 0, papunta dito sa 2a, so therefore, our limit would be from 0 up to 2a. Okay? Then, what is the value of our y? So as you can see here from our equation, no? From our equation, we have our y is equal to x cubed over 2a. So, with this, we can say that this is equal to x cubed over a square. No? Ngayon, titingnan natin. Ang idea kasi nito, no? So we have here the x sub 1 and this is the x sub 2. We are referring to the y which is bounded with the curve sa taas. That is the curve, no? That's the y up minus yung y natin dito sa baba, which is the y, no? In the lower portion. So, ito x cubed over a square na to, which is our y, is our y, no? Upper y. While the lower y is, of course, our boundary doon sa baba. No? Ano ba yung boundary natin sa baba? Ang boundary natin sa baba is this. Y is equal to 0, which is, of course, the x-axis. So, our y low is equal to 0 kasi yan ay x-axis. No? So, taking the integral of this, then we have here the area is equal to. So, since this a square here is constant, then we can factor that out. And that would be a square, 1 over a square, limit from 0 to 2a of the x cubed dx. So, computing for the integral of this, we have here 1 over a square. The integral of x cubed is x to the 4th over 4. And of course, our limit from 0 to 2a. So, applying the idea of our limit, then we have here 1 over a squared. We have the upper limit of 2a raised to 4 over 4 minus our lower limit, which is 0. So that's 0 raised to 4 over 4. So computing for this, we have here our area is equal to 1 over a square. Then here we have 2 raised to 4, that is equal to 16. We have here 16 and a raised to 4, that is a to the 4 over 4. Okay, so simplifying this, we have 16 divided by 4 is 4, and we have a to the 4th over a squared is a squared. So meaning we have here our area is equal to 4a squared, no, square units. And this is our final answer. Now, kahit wala sa module natin, we are going to try if applicable ba na gamitin yung horizontal strip for this type of problem. So, I just have to copy our figure para hindi na ako mag-drawing ulit. Okay. So, kanina, ang ginamit natin doon is the vertical strip. Now, let us go to visualize if in this type of problem, applicable bang gamitin yung horizontal strip. Ang usapan natin doon is dapat ay tatamaan yung boundary, no, which is either a line or another curve, at yung curve na consider natin. So, if we are going to assume, no, horizontal strip, tatamaan naman lahat simula sa taas hanggang sa baba. Yung curve natin ay tatamaan sa dulo, at itong line na to na vertical ay yung kabilang boundary. So, with this, yung thickness natin is varying, so therefore that is the delta y or the dy, and this is our x. Okay, now kung titingnan natin dito, what we need in order to compute for the area is of course the x dy, because this is the area of the rectangle, no, na ating horizontal strip. So, since we are in dy, our limit will be from the y1 up to y2. Now, kung titingnan natin dito, alin ba yung y natin? No? So, kung kanina, since we are in x, this is 0, 0, no? Ang limit natin kanina ay from 0 up to 2a kasi we are in x. Now, kasi tayo ay naka-y na, our limit would be from 0 up to 8a, no? So, yun yung magiging limit natin dito. But before that, kung titingnan natin, yung x natin na to, can be computed, no? Using the x to the right and this x here to the left, no? So, the value of the x is dictated by our x right minus x left, and that is dy, limit of course from y1 to y2. So substituting the value for this, we have our y1 is equal to 0 and our y2 here is equal to 8a. Now, what is the equation for the x at the right? No? Our x at the right here is x is equal to 2a. So, substituting that in our equation, then we have here 2a minus our x left is the equation of our curve. As we can see, no, in our problem, we have here our equation is a squared y is equal to x cubed. Yan. Kung kukunin natin yung x natin, then we can say that this is the cube root of a squared y. Okay? And this x here is our x to the left, no? Kasi nasa left side, no, yung ating curve. So, with this, we have the cube root of a squared y. This is dy. Okay. I-simplify muna natin yung mukha niya bago natin isolve para mas madali siyang tingnan. So, we have here 0 up to 8a. Then, we have here 2a. And this is a raised to 2/3. And this is y raised to 1/3. And we have here our dy. So, taking the integral of this, so kung i-distribute pa natin, okay lang naman, no? Since this is constant, then we can say that's 2a integral from 0 to 8a of dy minus itong constant natin, that's a raised to 2/3 integral from 0 to 8a of our y to the 1/3 dy. Then we are going to integrate this separately. So we have here 2a, the integral of dy is y, no? Of course, our limit from 0 to 8a. And for this, so we have a raised to 2/3, and the integral of this is y raised to 4/3 over 4/3. Of course, our limit from 0 to 8a. So, if we are going to rewrite this, we have here 2ay, no, minus, take the reciprocal for this, so we have 3/4, a raised to 2/3, then we have here y raised to 4/3. And of course, our limit here from 0 to 8a. Now, if we are going to apply our limit, then we have here 2a for the upper limit, that is 8a, minus 3/4. And this is a raised to 2/3. And our y here is 8a, and this is raised to 4/3. Now, this is the upper limit. For the lower limit, we have here minus 2a, our y is equal to 0, minus 3/4 a raised to 2/3, and our y is equal to 0 raised to 4/3. No? So, kahit hindi na natin ito gawin, since we know that this is equal to 0, then we can just simply say that this is minus 0. Okay lang naman. No? So, simplifying this, and we have here 2 times 8, so that's 16. a times a, that's a squared. Now, for this, we have 3/4 multiplied by 8 raised to 4 over 3. No? I-calculator na lang natin. So, you have 3/4 multiplied by 8 raised to 4/3. So, we can say that our answer here is 12, no? Tapos, a raised to 2/3 multiplied by a raised to 4/3. So, since we are just going to add the exponent, right? So, since common naman yung denominator nila natin, that is 2 plus 4 is 6. 6 over 3, that is 2, no? So, we have here a squared. So, simplifying this, and we have 16 minus 12 is equal to 4, a squared. Square, pangit ang sulat. Square units. Okay. So, kung titignan natin dito, ito yung sagot natin using the horizontal streak. At ito naman yung sagot natin kanina, no? Using the vertical streak. Pareho yung sagot natin using the horizontal and the vertical streak. Pero medyo mahaba-haba lang yung computation natin dito sa horizontal streak compared doon sa may vertical streak. But, so since both applicable yung vertical and horizontal streak in this problem, then pwede natin gamitin ay dalawa. So, during the exam, isa lang naman yung i-require sa inyo. Kaya dito sa module ninyo, isa lang naman yung pinakita dyan. Nag-effort na lang ako na ipakita yung isa pa. Okay? So, that ends our problem number